Remember, you either create your reality or you allow it. So it is either a dynamic of your creation or a dynamic of your allowance. So that leads us into the whole dynamic of taking responsibility for your world and for yourselves. But also we want to tell you that there have been many impediments and there have been many influences and there has been much manipulation in the whole dynamic, and each of you in your own way question yourselves and your ability to create reality simply because of all the doubts that have been planted within your psyche for many, many, many thousands of years.
All right. And we still manage to, at moments, shine with who we truly are.
Yeah, there is those dynamics, but does it have to take a disaster for the true nature of humanity to shine through? And in fact, if you understand the concept of soul's journey,
yes,
which is a dynamic of growth, if that happens on an individual level, does it also not happen on the level of the entire species? Of course it does.
So you've talked about our species being at a point of growth now, of moving from our adolescence into our adulthood.
Correct.
So that is a species-wide change in behavior, maturing.
Well, it has been being urged for the longest time now. We can take it all the way back to 1963 and the circumstances of what was going on back then, and it all ties together, and right after World War II, a certain arrogance took hold within the United States, and when that arrogance took hold, you believed that you could create the reality you wished without any repercussions, without any understanding of the inherent morality in life and in dealing with each other.
We sort of forgot who we are.
Well, but did you ever really know? You see, that's ultimately the question. If there have been perhaps hundreds of thousands of years of manipulation, of keeping you from stepping into your full empowerment simply because let us say, there's this theory out there that your genes have been manipulated by outside forces, and we would say that that is quite likely in its own way. And in fact, as they discover more and more of the dynamics of gene research, they are going to find more and more, what shall we say, DNA from outside of the set of Earth. But again, what would happen, what would your response be if you came in and you manipulated a species and you manipulated the DNA of a species, and all of a sudden you realized that they were more than you are? Basically because you manipulated their DNA. Not only do they have their own abilities as a species, but they now have your abilities and the abilities that you gave them as a species. So what would your response be? Control.
I'd be afraid and maybe a little jealous. So you're giving.
So what we're trying to tell you is that, think about things. Those that are most, what shall we say, most responsible for the DNA given to you are taught you analytics, moved you into the dynamics of your mind, but your true creative power is with Mother Earth. Your true creative power is with your emotions. Your true creative power is with your thoughts, your words, and your feelings. Everything is powered by emotion, and yet you are taught to run from emotion.
Well, we've discussed that at length.
That's absolutely right. And that's why we actually do focus on a lot of the mental.
Right, because the emotional is frightening for many people. And
Terrifying.
because because there's such depth of experience, and we're not taught any of the patterns that are natural in an emotional reality.
Well, you know, emotions are always out of control, aren't they?
No,
Often. Often.
they have their own truth to them.
Sometimes. And sometimes those truths are colored by beliefs.
Oh, it's complicated. It's complex. All right.
Well,
But-
and we would say to you that soul thrives on complexity.